We saw that, in the eighth inning for the Dodgers when Teoscar Hernandez hit the home run. All of a sudden then hitting becomes contagious. Tommy Edman doubles. Kiké hits a home run. Next thing you know, the Pirates are fumbling the ball in left field. Their normally very reliable bullpen is walking people. So I know there's a lot of people that don't think like the psychological aspect of momentum is actually a real thing. I can tell you I totally disagree with that, because baseball, with as much advanced analytics as we have in this game, it is not played in a lab. It's played by real people. It's played by people that are together 6 months a year in an enclosed dugout and a clubhouse, and you become very close. These people become your family. And so the way one person is going affects the way that you go. So if one person does something well, then that bleeds into you. You want to do something well, and you guys and everybody feeds off of each other. So momentum, especially in a game like baseball, that is such a marathon, and you're around these people and they become such family to you. Momentum is a real thing. And so I thought that eighth inning kind of showed that. And Teoscar Hernandez's opposite field hit in the first inning. The thing about Teoscar Hernandez, about him, that was the at-bat to me. Of course, the home run was also why Dodgers fans have fallen in love with Teo. But why Teo, to me, was the guy in the offseason that it was a no-brainer. You had to re-sign him, was that double in the first inning. So check this out. Teoscar Hernandez is hitting .400 with runners at third base. He's hitting .391 with runners in scoring position. He's hitting .303 with 2 outs, and he's hitting .273 when he's behind in the count. Now, keep in mind, the overall league batting average, regardless of the count, is .239, .240, somewhere in there. And he's hitting .273 when behind in the count. So that's incredible. That just tells you when he gets down the count, he shortens his swing, he gets competitive, he gets into compete mode, and he lets the ball get deep, shortens the swing, and thinks opposite field, and he's very good at it. Just simplify the two-strike approach, and to have a guy that was brought over to slug, which Teoscar Hernandez was brought over to do a couple of things, obviously hit lefties, something of which he's done very well, and then also slug. To have a guy that you brought over for basically slugging purposes, to have such a team-oriented approach to so many of his at-bats, especially when he gets down the count, that, to me, is why somebody like me fell in love with Teoscar Hernandez. That is exactly why, in my opinion, in the offseason, it was a no-brainer to bring him back. And then he just caps it off with the home run in the eighth inning. And then you're like, well, yeah, there is the entire Teo experience. That right there is exactly why everybody wanted Teoscar Hernandez back. And so him and both Kiké, both Hernandezes, it seems like they do tandem things. It was like as soon as Teo hit the home run and you saw Kiké come in to pinch hit, you're like, oh, that's the Hernandez and Hernandez thing. I mean, like, this has happened like 2 or 3 times already this year, and that goes back to the momentum thing. I think definitely Teoscar Hernandez created a big moment there. The moment stayed big, and Kiké wasn't bored because the moment was big. And because of that big moment locked Kiké in, and you kind of knew, you kind of smelled the fact that Kiké, in that big moment, there was excitement in the air. That's what Kiké's made for. That moment there is exactly why you have him on this team, is because in the exciting big moments, playoff type moments, that's where he does his best work. And we saw that last night. And so the Dodgers scored. Yates held another momentum deal. The Dodgers, they score 4 runs, and the next thing you know, Tanner Scott comes in and does a good job. But the Dodgers scored in the 7th inning, and then it wasn't easy for Kirby Yates, but he put up the 0. So complimentary baseball. The defense holds, then the offense scores. But more so, when your team scores a run, come out and throw strike 1. When your team scores a run, get the first out of the next inning. When your team scores a run, throw up a 0 in that next inning. That's complimentary baseball. That's creating momentum. So, yeah, you scored a run, you created some momentum, but how are you going to sustain that? So if the offense scores and the defense comes out and blanks, the other team gets you right back in the dugout. Now the momentum is in your dugout, and then all of a sudden we see the 4th spot in the bottom of the 8th. So for the longest period of time, I thought that was the best job of the Dodgers team. Now, they've had explosive moments, but the complementary baseball piece where the offense fed into the defense fed back into the offense, and because that whole circuit got completed, we saw the Dodgers team that has the potential to be such an exciting and dominating team there in the 7th and 8th innings. And then you bring in a guy like Tanner Scott with a 4-run lead. Of course, not a safe situation for him, but it is good morning, good afternoon, and good night. No doubt about that. Roki Sasaki, I posted on social media, and I got a little bit of pushback. Oh, that's fine. But I think it was a good outing for him. Was it perfect? Is 3 runs and 5? Hey, I said last year, for starters, just give me 5 innings and 4 runs. Let the offense win from there. Let the bullpen be the dogs they are. Maybe you give up 1 more run in the next 4 innings from your bullpen. The other team scores 5 runs. You win most of those games. So I'll say this from Roki Sasaki, still trying to transition over. I will take 5 innings, 3 runs, any day of the week, twice on Sundays for where he is at right now. So 5.1 innings last night, got into the 6th inning. That is a very, very positive thing. 5 hits, 3 runs, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. Now, here's the thing about him. The fastball isn't the elite, blow you away, oh my gosh, look at that, we've never seen anything like that before, type of intimidating, dominating fastball that Dodgers fans thought we were getting with Roki Sasaki. The ball is different where he came from. It's tackier. There's the spin's not as good. So he hit 97.7. Of course, with Roki Sasaki, he threw the fastest pitch ever in Japan. We thought we were going to see consistently 100 and 101, average 96.1. And here's the deal. His spin's like averaging 2,200. So his fastball is far, far, far from an elite pitch. But he did land it at 64% of the time. So he can still get a lot of outs. But here's the problem. His fastball is not elite. And then he only landed his splitter in the zone 31% of the time. Then he only landed his slider 36% of the time. Now, he threw 64% strikes with his fastball, which is, hey, that's that 60 to 65 I talk about as a magic number for guys because it's enough to get ahead in the counts. So I say all that to say, Roki Sasaki doesn't have a whole lot of margin for error right now. His fastball is not elite. His secondaries aren't landing in the zone. So he's having to locate, change speeds, and create movement with his pitches to get outs. He's not able to bully major league hitters right now and just say, you know what, I got down the count 2-0, I'm down the count 3-1. To heck with it. Here's a 102-mile-an-hour fastball. You can't hit it anyways. He does not have that margin for error last night. So when I say 5.1 innings, 3 runs, for what Roki Sasaki is right now, that's a good start for him, especially considering that he had to work himself out of jams. He had to deal with some crisis moments. And then the Dodgers had lost 3 games in a row. And in the 5th, in some of those innings for the Pirates, you know, whenever you lose 3 games in a row, what happens to you from a mentality perspective is you just kind of start expecting, you're expecting something bad to happen. And he fought against that. And he gave his Dodgers a chance to win, something that they absolutely did. And so from all those perspectives, I'm going to say it was a good outing for Roki Sasaki. And I say that with the utmost complimentary tone because I think there is a world out there where Roki Sasaki's fastball gets much more explosive, much more explosive. There's a world out there where he starts landing his secondaries at a much higher clip. And so I think there's a much better version of Roki Sasaki out there. And I am super excited to continue to watch him to develop. And so from that perspective, I'm going to call it a good outing for him. So the Pirates had a chance we talked about on Friday. It just felt like the Pirates had a chance to take control of the game and on Friday, and they just never did. And I just kept Even on my podcast yesterday, I kept saying, I just felt like that was going to come back and bite him, and the Dodgers are going to make him pay for it. That was the 5th and 7th innings last night. Andy Pages makes the catch. Freddie Freeman makes a nice play at first base. And to be honest with you, the 7th inning, the one run there, that was the end of the game for the Pirates. When the Dodgers answered that in the bottom, and the Pirates had a chance really to blow that thing open, that's where the momentum flipped. And that was what I was waiting for on Friday. The Dodgers just never could score something it did on Saturday. So the Dodgers finally made the Pirates pay for not taking advantage of the innings that they actually had built. And with the Pages and with the Freeman plays, I've bitched and moaned to no end about, hey, is this the kind of defense you want for a roster that you spent this much money for? And I think for the most part, the answer is no. Muncy hasn't been great at shortstop. Andy Pages has had his issues in center field. Kiké Hernandez, not a great right fielder. Michael Conforto, not a great left fielder. So all in all, I'd have to think you'd have to say no. But last night just goes to show you how you can create momentum, how you can win games on the margins. I know it ended up being a 4-run win at 8-4. But the game was flipped with defense. Andy Pages in the 5th, Freddie Freeman in the 7th. So it was nice to be on the plus side of the defensive aspect of the game last night. And to speak to the 7th inning, Jack Dreyer, first time in his first time really probably ever in his life, because at Johnston High School back in Iowa, I doubt that he ever struggled ever. At Iowa, his first game, he pitched against Oklahoma State. I can remember it. He shoved against my Cowboys. Then he had all of the shoulder problems. Then he had COVID. Then he got shut down. Then he got signed as an undrafted free agent. Then he had Tommy John. Then he had to overcome that. Then he made his way back in 2023. And since he's made his way back in 2023, he's never had a period ever where he struggled. This is like the biggest struggle period he's ever had. And I was really glad to see Evan Phillips come in behind him as a fireman and only give up the 1 run. Just from a statistical perspective, that will help Jack. But I'm very interested, hey, we talk a lot about the Maytag. We love the Maytag. Going to be real honest, I've never seen him recover from a period of struggle. And that's really what defines. So, a lot of guys get there, but to stay there is a lot harder because you have the ebbs and flows. How do you deal with these patches? I have communicated with Jack. Jack simply put, hey, no worries. Going to bounce back. Not worried about it at all. So I'm very interested to see the bounce back from Jack Dreyer. Haven't had a chance to see it. No, I'm confident it's going to happen and very fast. Just saying, never had to see it because he's never struggled because he has been that good. But how big time was Evan Phillips in the fireman's role last night in the 7th inning? Andrew McCutchen had no shot against Evan Phillips. No shot. 9 pitches to Andrew McCutchen. 8 of them were sweepers. And finally, by the end of it, McCutchen was like, screw it, I'm out of here. I can't hit this pitch. I'm just going to swing at this ball and get the hell out of here. So the strikeout to McCutchen was huge. The ground ball was huge. That right there, Evan Phillips coming in and throwing all of those sweepers, striking out Andrew McCutchen, getting out of that inning, only giving up 1 run. That was the difference in the game. Mentioned that Andy Pages is hitting .440 in his last 7 games, .315 in his last 15. And this is from our co-host, Austin Brubaker. So Dodgers WRC plus numbers, weighted runs created plus. Since April 3rd, Andy Pages leads the Dodgers in WRC plus at 146. Freddie Freeman at 141, Kiké Hernandez 134, and Will Smith at 123. So that just goes to show you in last 7 games over 400. Highest WRC plus of the team since April 3rd. And by the way, he made the great play last night to save the home run in the 5th inning. And so that was Andy Pages has been playing just absolutely awesome. Teo got the lid off in the 8th. We talked about the Hernandez brothers. The momentum really kicked in gear, and then Tanner Scott closed it. And it was a great night to be a Dodger. So for our Down on the Farm segment today, we are going to focus, we're not going to go over all of the action in the system. We'll get to that either on our live show tonight, or I'll put just a standalone Down on the Farm segment tomorrow out for consumption for Dodgers fans. What we're going to do on today's Down on the Farm segment is we're just going to talk about some guys that maybe could bring reinforcements to Los Angeles, and we're going to talk about three guys in specific. And this is Landon Knack right here. Landon Knack, definitely, no doubt about it, put in his best outing of the year for AAA Oklahoma City Saturday afternoon at the new ballpark in Salt Lake City. 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 4 strikeouts, and just 1 walk. That a baby, Landon Knack. How about this? Landon Knack, we always talk about, is a 4-pitch strike thrower. So it's not about the results. The results are great. The 7 innings are fantastic. The 1 walk is what you got to look at here. The 4 hits are great too. Why do I say that? Because Landon Knack doesn't have like the 107-mile-an-hour fastball. He doesn't have the stuff that just jumps off of the TrackMan. So what he has to be successful, and he can be very successful even at the major league level, is he has to be a 4-pitch strike thrower. Well, how about this? Landon Knack, all 4 of his secondary offerings, his slider, his changeup, and his knuckle curve, and then also, well, not all 4 of his secondary offerings, all 4 of his pitches that he threw yesterday, his four-seam fastball, his changeup, his slider, and his knuckle curve, all 4 of them landed in the zone over 40 or over 50% of the time. He threw 56 strikes and 82 pitches, which is 68%. So that's one of those it's not so much to where hitters are just sitting on you, but it's enough to where you're ahead in counts and you're able to use your secondaries that you are landing to get hitters out. So the changeup was plus that he was throwing. The knuckle curve is really, whenever he's throwing his knuckle curve, the way that he is capable, that knuckle curve is a really, really nice pitch. So I think the thing that to look for as far as Landon Knack was the fact that he was a 4-pitch strike thrower again yesterday, and that is a great thing to see from him, no doubt about that. So here's Hyeseong Kim with a stolen base right here, and this is about a 3-5 from pitcher to catcher to second base. Again, above 3-3 is something that base stealers should be able to steal. But having said that, on this 3-5, Hyeseong Kim made that look very, very easy. That tells you that combined between pitcher and catcher, from the time the pitcher delivers it at home, for the time the catcher throws it at second and the second baseman catches it, major leaguers are going to have to be around 3-1 or 3-2. And major leaguers aren't in the 3-1, 3-2 category very often. So that tells you that his speed should translate to stolen bases at the major league level, no doubt about it. And then also, Hyeseong Kim had 2 hits yesterday, and he was on base 3 times, and he scored a run. Hyeseong Kim, who stole that base, that was his 11th stolen base. He leads the Pacific Coast League in stolen bases, and he's tied for 3rd in runs scored. Those are all great. And you might say, well, why aren't they bringing him up now? Well, he has a batting average of .253. His on-base percentage is only .311. His walk percentage is only 5.7. And his WRC plus is only 98. And he's made 4 errors at shortstop. And his fielding percentage at shortstop is .905. And his strikeout rate, .905 is not good for a shortstop, obviously. And his strikeout rate is 25.5%. So I say all that to say that's not meant to be a negative evaluation of Hyeseong Kim, because I think, I've said this many different times, the Dodgers did not miss on this guy. This guy's going to be a wonderful young player. It just is going to take him a minute to transition from the KBL to American baseball. And we're seeing that transition. The Dodgers know what they're doing. They needed to give this young man time to come to America, get adjusted, and define his game as far as what am I capable of doing against American players in American baseball that will accent the things and my abilities that I do the best. And he is in that process. And I think it's very intelligent that the Dodgers are giving him that time. And so I wanted to kind of give you those stats, 25.5 strikeout rate, 905 fielding percentage at shortstop. He's not walking a lot. The batting averages is not all that high, and he's been just a touch below a league average offensive player. So still, in my opinion, I think it's very smart that the Dodgers have given him time to transition. So I would say the guy that definitely right now, if you had to call up somebody tomorrow to play infield, third base or shortstop, and you wanted to move Mookie Betts to second base or to the outfield, the guy is Alex Freeland. It is absolutely hands down. Alex Freeland is not on the 40-man roster, but he is Rule 5 eligible at the end of this year. So like the Edgardo Henriquez thing, you would have to imagine that the Dodgers will protect him, no doubt. So why not bring him up during the season and see what you got before you protect him? So 2 hits yesterday for AAA Oklahoma City, including his second home run. Now, just 2 home runs, you might say, well, but I can tell you Alex Freeland has a world of power potential. This guy is very strong, and he can hit the ball a long, long ways. And remember, I love that opposite field right there. We talked about that with Ohtani. He consistently steals over 30 bases a year. This year, he's already 6 for 7 in stolen base attempts. So just like Hyeseong Kim, he has the same type of athletic ability. He can steal bases just like Hyeseong Kim did or can. And how about this? Alex Freeland is second in the PCL in hits with 34. He's second in the PCL in doubles with 12. He's second in the RBIs in the PCL with 25. And he's 8th in stolen bases with 6. And he has 7 multi-RBI games on the year. Alex Freeland has played, and here's the defense. Alex Freeland has played 162 innings at shortstop. He's made just 1 error in 78 chances. So Alex Freeland is fielding the ball at a 987 clip. My opinion, which matters none whatsoever, if there was a position player to get brought up, it's, Funner Fiducia if you need a catcher, obviously, because Hunter Fiducia has been raking. Ryan Ward could make a case if you wanted to somehow go crazy on Michael Conforto, because Ryan Ward has absolutely been going off. But the guy is Alex Freeland. Alex Freeland has just absolutely been having a great year at AAA Oklahoma City. So I wanted to cover those 3 in terms of the 3 guys that are imminent, or you might think, hey, if the Dodgers need some reinforcement, who might it be? So those are the guys that I think we're at right there. So hey, I want to thank you for tuning in. And as always, my name is Casey Porter, and I want to thank you for tuning in. And as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.